Hi, I'm Kavita Sherchan and welcome to No Filter, No Frills. This is a four-part mini-series exploring the real stories of working women from South Asia now based in Manila. We'll be talking about the challenges stemming from the deep-rooted patriarchal mindset and the choices we make as we navigate our careers and identity. Today, we will be talking about the reinvention loop. We will look into how we have to constantly reinvent ourselves as we follow our husbands in their pursuit of their career. We have with us Poonam Anandani from India, Seher Imad from Pakistan, Archana Mascarenhas from India, and Sadia Sultana from Bangladesh. Seher, would you like to start by introducing yourself?
Thanks, Kavita. Thank you for having me on this show. I'm Seher Imad, based in Manila with my husband and two children. I'm a freelance writer and a creative writing teacher. I have got a master's in human resources from London School of Economics and a master's in sociology from NUS Singapore. I'm also the author of my debut novel, Our Small Lives, in which I talk about love and alienation. I have moved around a lot, having lived in 6 countries throughout the time of marriage, which is now 26 years. So I call myself a global nomad.
I've read your novel. It's really heart-touching and actually describes our situation.
Thank you, Kavita. Thank you for your kind words.
Hi, my name is Archana Mascarenhas. I'm from Mumbai, right now based in Philippines. I moved for almost 4.5 years back now. I'm a mom to 3 teenage boys, and I'm a cake artist. I used to be a banker. I started my career as a banker, which I gave up whatever reasons, and then I started my career as a baker, which started as a hobby and eventually turned up to be a full-time job. So I ended up becoming this international cake artist. What is international cake artist is like I specialize in designer big cakes, structure cakes. I specialize in making sugar figurines with sugar, very intricate work, and I used to make all kind of cakes, and since I'm from Mumbai, so I have done a lot of celebrity cakes done for different people, and I have made cakes for Ambanis too, for their Isha Ambani and Anand Piramal's pre-wedding celebration, which happened in India, in Mumbai. So yeah, that's all about it, and here I am now.
I've seen your figurines and it's awesome.
Thank you.
So I'm Sadia Sultana. Now, I did PhD in international law from Beijing, China. Before that, I did my master's in business law from USA and Bangladesh. I worked with Standard Chartered Bank as the manager legal and compliance for 3.5 years. And after that, I moved to teaching career in North South University, which was the first private university in Bangladesh. And then right now, I'm a freelance consultant and law academician. I run a small Bangla language school here in Manila. So this is our 13th year in Manila, and I look forward to exploring more and getting back to my career. Thank you.
So hi, I am Poonam Anandani. Thanks Kavita for having me in your show. Really feel privileged. And I have around 18 years of experience in tech industry now. And having lived in, this is my 16th move. So having lived in different countries, different continents, I have worn multiple hats. I've worked in different industries. Currently, I'm working in Manila with a leading NBFC. And initially I had moved with my husband to this beautiful country, but now I am relocating myself alone. So this is the story of my life. But I also firmly believe that when you collect different stamps on your passport, you're rebuilding yourself, you are developing new friendships, new stories, you are enriching your experiences. And I'm very proud to call myself as a global citizen. And be it technology, be it personal life, I think there is not a set way to take your life ahead. It's a process and it gradually evolves. So I would say change is the constant. Embrace your change and take it with you.
Let's start with Poonam. How many times have you relocated for your husband's career? How has the experience been?
It's a very interesting question, and that's how I now relate my identity with these moves. So, as I had pointed out, this is my 16th move. This move personally is just me relocating. It's not along with my husband, but when I was a trailing spouse, I moved with him around 15 places. Within India, it was every 1.5 years we used to move, we used to travel to different cities within India. And after that, then we moved to Thailand, then New York and different parts of US, and then here, back to India. And then from India, we moved to Philippines and now back to India, and now I'm back here. So these changes, and one may think you're disrupting yourself, you're moving away from where you're establishing. How it is easy. It comes with obviously its own challenges, its own pros and cons. Initially, I used to feel very demotivated, frustrated. There were times where I used to doubt myself, especially when I was moving away from my professional momentum, that what I am doing, especially in a country like Thailand, where the visa regulations or the work permit was very, very difficult to get. There were questions that arose, like, people used to ask me, oh, what do you do for yourself? So then I used to think, what I am doing, is it really worth these moves and all? But then I used to take it very positively, because I knew it was a conscious decision that since, my daughter was growing up and she required both the sides of the parent to be with her. So, but then over a period of time, I reinvented myself in this whole process of relocation, wherein I gathered new talents, which I explored, and I found out during this whole process that who I am. I became a painter. I became an entrepreneur when I started my own business in Thailand. Kavita, during this whole process of relocation and all, I didn't think that I am actually doing, a sacrifice or a challenge. I took it as a trade-off, for sure. It did not strike me as a trade-off, it was a challenge. But yes, I took it very positively as a trade-off. Yes, that in the process, if I'm giving up something, I'm gaining something else as well. Like as I was mentioning about my experience in Thailand, I never knew that I'm an artist until I discovered and explored. And why I explored? Because with this positive attitude, keeping myself motivated, even with my New York experience, initially I did not landed with a job. I had some 56 rejections, and that's how I got this job. Why? Because I started networking. I kept it positive. Until and unless you change your mindset and have that positivity in you, it doesn't come in. So, this is how the life goes, and here I am, wherein this company in Manila, they don't want to let me go. And I don't think so. If I ever go back and I see, I will have the same position here. And I am enjoying it till it lasts. So that's it. So what do you think, Seher? Share your experiences.
Poonam, yes. So I think I said that earlier as well. I've moved 6 times since I got married, which was 26 years ago. And I think the first time was the hardest because I'd never lived abroad on my own. And before that, it became easier, but then it came, other challenges came with it, because after my second move, I had a young family. And then when you have a young family, there are further issues because, every transition brings with it a change of school, a change of friends. You have to just deal with the children's emotional dilemmas. They become attached to places. And then, there's a new Pandora that opens every time. So at first, it was just me and myself that I had to deal with. But later on, through the other moves, it was the kids' issues that I had to deal with as well. And also, I feel that I just feel I don't know where home is now. Is it Pakistan? Is it Manila? Is it London, where my children were born? So that, I think, is a bit of a price we all pay, because I really don't know which country to identify with anymore. And if, people ask me, where are you going to go after you guys retire? And I'm like, I don't have an answer to that. And another thing that I want to point out is that, children, my boys, don't have that sense of identity with Pakistan, the one that I have, because they didn't grow up there. So I wish they did, but it's not something I can inflict on them, because they will never feel about my country the way I do.
Yes.
That's again something I feel is a bit of a sacrifice, but never mind. They have gained so much more, and also I feel I have gained so much more because the relationships, the people, the places, the exposure which comes with moving does not come unless you move. So I would just put that, I mean, that's the capsule that I put it in.
So, Seher, one of the biggest challenges of a trailing spouse is finding a job that fits their qualification and education. What has been your experience?
I must say that it has had its frustrations because I feel I'm quite qualified. And, I've done 3 masters, one in Pakistan, one from Singapore, one from London. I also have a PGCE, and I've been, writing throughout. So I used to be overqualified for certain jobs, and then of course I could not build up experience the way I would have been able to had I continued in one job. So that was of course the downside. But then I have reinvented myself everywhere, and now I have this huge body of students who come to me from all over the world. It started during COVID when we couldn't do online in-person teaching. So my online students, my online community is what I feel I've built on, and I have that to my credit. So whereas I don't have a full-time job, I do have my teaching, which gives me a lot of flexibility, and I feel very gratified when I see good grades. I feel very gratified with the relationships I form with my students, and that is something that is very enriching. So I think everything has its price, but everything has an upside as well. So even though I don't have a full-time job, it's something, my teaching is something I really relish.
Again, I ponder and I think upon, when this question you raised it, that yes, initially, when we were in India and we used to move every 1.5 years, when you establish yourself, you start your career, and then it was a time for us to move. I had to prove myself every single move which we did in India, to prove yourself that you're worth this position, to validate yourself. And obviously there were compromises I did wherein I had to go back in my career ladder to take a position which I was not, I was a junior. That was a junior role. But I took it. I thought maybe this will boost it, maybe in some other way. And I did that. However, whatever said and done, and when I, long story short, when I moved to Thailand, New York, that is where after 56 rejections, when I landed with that job title in itself said Head of Data and Analytics, wherein my experiences over, the consulting experiences, the India experiences really boosted, and that's how I landed up this job with. I led a team of 33 team members, which was a very, very big team. And then gradually, it again boosted, and I landed up into a very, very good role, which I'm really very proud of, that I was selected as #1 candidate amongst 50 candidates. So that is something, I think I have, managed it, I've sailed it through. Now when I came here in Manila and when I was looking for a job, that point of time also I went through different rejections and all. But then I'm very happy now with this role where I am working with a leading NBFC, where, one of the leading financial investor, MUFJ, they are the sole partners with us because of the fact that we are the most profitable here. So when you look back, when you start with a human mindset, you think, there are issues, there are concerns. But when you take it positively and just move ahead, it always pays you off, because you manifest with that positive mindset.
And also because you have been able to reinvent.
Yes, so reinventing and being that positive and changing it whenever you can really helps you out.
So I did not know this when I moved here. Manila is one of the places where it's very hard for expat spouses to get work, but thankfully in my case I was lucky. I had just moved in here for a few months, and then I bumped into my former colleague at a farmer's market, and she knew my work, so she recommended me and passed around my CV to, I think, few people that she knew and who were looking for a comms consultant. So that's how I got the job. If I had not met her, then I think it would have been very hard for me to break into this job market. So how important do you think it is to have that networking to get a job, Seher?
Kavita, for myself, I feel that whatever I have today in terms of my teaching and my students and the learning I get from them and the learning they get from me is my own work. It's not the community which has, helped me get a job or, asked me to send in work pieces so they could recommend me to somebody. I have tried earlier on, but I'm proud to say that today, whatever I have has been built by myself. And of course, when you are good at what you do, which I think I am, you get recommendations and people recommend you. And that is how I have been able to build my teaching myself since the last 7 years when I first moved here. And, so I will take the credit for it myself, that it's been my work. And I'm proud to say that it is.
No, but sometimes it's very hard to find job. You might be extremely qualified, and all of us, I'm sure, have gone through that phase where you feel that maybe I'm not qualified because I'm not getting jobs. And I personally feel it's important that sometimes you have somebody who puts in a good word for you because they know your work. I've seen so many capable and highly qualified spouses in Manila who are desperately looking for work, and they still have not been able to find because they don't have that somebody who's willing to put in a good word for them. It's only one recommendation I think you need to get a job, because once you have a foot in the door, it's easy to get. What do you think, Poonam?
I mean, for me, especially in the tech industry, I think networking is really, really vital. It is important because most of these job opportunities, they don't come through job portals. It's through networking, through friends whom you meet for tea or chat or chance encounters, I would say. That is, I would say that it has personally worked with me rather when we were in Thailand, because I always quote that country because the getting work is next to impossible. So how I got a breakthrough in entrepreneurship was through a friend who we shared similar interests, and we wanted to do something in jewelry line. And we were very, very successful in jewelry line opening in India, then we opened in Thailand, and then we were expanding our horizons to Malaysia and other countries. But again, we moved. That's a different story. But it was just because I met her over tea, right? Yeah. And even when I was here in Manila, I spoke with so many people in different fintech industries, and they gave me a different perspective, and they got me connected to different profile people here, and that's how I built that. And my LinkedIn community, wherein I floated my resume, and even I'm still looking for jobs back in India, if I want to. You have to be visible, and you need to continue to do the networking, not because you need an opportunity that time, but you never know how it will turn out to be. The crucial part.
The landscape has, I think, it has changed, right? It's all about networking. I have seen when competing for the same position, if they are equal in qualification and experience, it's the person with the contact that gets it.
I would like to add one more thing here. Like now, India is the most populated country, right? For one job, there are some 100 applicants going. Yes. So that is where I think networking really helps.
Yes.
Like if you come up with a recommendation from someone, or someone has put a word of mouth for you, it really works out well.
That's true. Yeah. And Sadia, have you ever tried networking, or have you ever, recommended another spouse for a position that you think would fit them?
Okay, so Kavita, with every move, I try to build up that feeling, like every relocation, has to have a sense of belongingness. Unless you feel at home in your relocations when you have several, it's difficult to work, to prioritize, and to make yourself more organized. So whenever we move to different countries, in each country, the first thing I told myself is like, this is my home for the time being, like for 1 year or 2 years or 3 years. And then I started building up network, whether it's personal or professional. Whether it helped or not, that came at a later stage. But I'm a people person.
Yes.
You know, I love to have friends around. I love to know different people, their culture, heritage, and everything. So that made me quite accepted in that community. Whether I'm from Bangladesh, the other friend was from different country, they thought I belonged to them. You know, so same feeling happened in Beijing. When I could start speaking some Chinese, they used to call me Hao Paiyo, which is our best friend.
Yes.
So I learned those tactics, the surviving techniques, and I thought like that was one of the biggest challenges, you know. And then when I came to Manila, you know, in 2012, it's been 13 years. The very first thing I tried to adapt myself is to the friendliness of the Filipino people. You know, I took myself out and then I tried to mingle with them instead of, you know, having that vibe that, you know, I come from a different country. Because for me, for last 13 years, this has been the home, away from home, if you would like. So I did extensive networking, you know, in the personal category and also professionally. So as I mentioned, also like I got very active on LinkedIn, which I was not before, because that gave me a lot of, you know, opportunities. Whether they worked or not, that's a different issue. But I was heard, you know, I could reach out to people, I could have access to know more information. And the other thing I did, like when I was having the, you know, career gap, or if you could say like a career break, I did not just sit back and start regretting or complaining. I rather reached out to people who could have a good word about me to someone else. So one funny example is that, you know, when I was teaching, you know, an Indian kid, you know, Bangla language, the mother got impressed with my presentation of Bangla language slides, you know. And then she actually recommended me a consultancy, like, do you like to, you know, do this? I said yes, of course, because, you know, it was very relevant to my background and everything. So you never know from whom, you know, opportunity can come. So, you know, from a Bangla class to all the way to a law consultancy, you know, it just happened like that. So in my case, instead of just applying for a job, I reached out to the line manager or reached out to the people. Here I am. I'm looking for opportunities, and then I'm really interested in teaching. That's how, you know, University of the Philippines, they invited me, that come and talk about, you know, the issues, the legal issues. And then also Bangladesh Embassy invited me that please talk about foreign investment in Bangladesh. So I was actually playing the role of a goodwill ambassador as also. So during those gatherings, I had, you know, good network, good exposure. And that gave me a lot of confidence in, you know, extending myself and breaking the barrier and move forward. So not to limit myself. And regarding your second question, like whether I recommended someone for some position, I always do. Because I believe in, you know, doing things together, and also to help others to shine, you know. So I don't concentrate only on myself, like, okay, if I shine, that's it, you know, others can relax. But I feel it's a social obligation, and then I feel like, you know, this is part of being human, because we all live abroad, far away from our countries. So it's not only that I helped, you know, Bangladeshi community, I helped local Filipino people also, you know, telling about them to others and different nationalities. So that way, you know, the acceptability was, you know, there. People found me to be flexible and not very clannish. Okay, so that was very important. When you leave abroad, you can't always be very clannish. You know, you have to let yourself reach out to people so that they welcome you.
Yeah, and that's very nice because, you know, I found that among the South Asians, and especially among women, we really hesitate to reach out and ask for help. And I think it's very important for us to reach out and do the networking, right? Archana, I know in your field, you really need the talent to be that artist, but you also have all these associations, groups. So do you need to have networks to get into that, or how does it work in your field?
So, being a cake artist, like when I came from India, I was already a known personality. But when I moved to Philippines, it was like no one knew me, who I was. So initially, I was a little lost here because it was very difficult to get connected to the baking community because every community is very private and they don't want any outsider to just barge in or come in. So I was trying to try to get in touch with the cake artist. I would write to them personally, hi, I'm so and so. So I was not afraid to introduce myself that I am so and so, I'm from India, I'm a cake artist and I moved to Philippines, and can we meet over a coffee or something. So that time was different, it was pandemic, so people were little afraid also to meet you. And so there was not much response. So it was like, okay, now I'm here and I need to make people know that I'm here. And I also, would love to be part of their community. And that is like, I cannot force anyone.
Yes.
These people have to accept me
Yes.
and let me in. So my first very instance was like, there is a cake show which happens here, which is Philippines, one of the biggest cake show, which is called Cake Fiesta Manila. So I participated in that
Okay.
competition
Just to break
just
in.
to break in,
Mhm.
just to let people know that okay, here I am, this is me, and this is my work.
Mhm.
Okay, I cannot say that, oh, I am so and so, and I've done so
Yes.
much work.
Right,
No, I
exactly.
had to show my work,
Okay.
that this is my work, here I am, and I would love to be part of this community. And I was received with open heart.
Yeah.
My first cake show, everyone was very nice, and Philippines people are known to be very
Yes.
kind.
We
And
all agree
yes,
with that.
yes, yes, they're very kind, and once they let you in, they will let you in. And now I am part of that community. I feel very proud, and I was saying in my previous episode that I'm invited to this Biennale art exhibition, which happens in Italy every 2 years. So I got invited for that by a Filipino ambassador, and she happens to be a good friend now, and we all are going together, and we are looking forward. We'll be going in November and representing Philippines. So yeah, like, but
Yes.
it's not always like, oh, I have
Yes.
arrived and you have to prove yourself again.
True.
Yes.
And you should not be afraid to do that.
Yeah, and
You should
start from
be-
the scratch.
Yes,
Yeah.
start from the scratch.
Scratch
It is
or
always
yes, or change
Yeah.
something.
Yes.
I
Yes.
just want to say something that I
Yes.
read about community building the other
Uh-huh.
day, which was that, if you help somebody reach the top,
Yes.
you too reach the top.
Yes.
Yeah.
Of
So,
course.
I thought that was very beautiful because it's not just that the other person is being helped, you are going along the
Along,
way
yes.
also.
Yeah.
And that really resonated with me. That is, if everybody thought like that,
Yes.
how wonderful it would be.
Of course.
Because you're helping somebody, but you're helping yourself also in a lot of ways.
True.
We
Yes.
forget that sometimes. That's
That's
something
true.
to remember.
Yes, of course. Very nice thought indeed.
Yeah.
So, Poonam, do you have any advice for another woman who is preparing to be a trailing spouse?
Now, surely, I would like to say they should be prepared as well as open. Now, prepared, why I say prepared? Because there can be instances wherein you may not follow, your career may not move in that positive direction you may want to. It may take a reverse turn, or it may take a new direction as well. So you should be prepared what is there for you in this process, and open that, yes, keep yourself open. Why? Because you should have your professional identity, work towards it, but give your permission to explore, because in this process of exploration you will learn some new things, you will explore something about you which you may not otherwise. So that is what I would say. And do networking. Please reach out to everyone. There's no harm in that. You will meet, it may not happen that it may come out to be a business opportunity or a career opportunity, but you are growing your world, right? Your friendships and circles. So I would say it's definitely, this advice I will definitely give it to the trailing spouses or people who are looking and relocating themselves. Be prepared and open, and take it with you and with a positive approach.
Seher, what's your advice?
Kavita, I would say that it's definitely not a piece of cake. It has its challenges. And I'll give the example of my own mother. My father was in the government service and she did not even move once, despite him asking her a number of times. And then again, I want to say that even girls in Pakistan today are not so eager to move. I see girls within my own friend circle, their daughters who are of marriageable ages. They say we do not want to get married to a person who's going to move abroad or who is already living abroad because they think it's easier to stay back.
Yes.
So, it's like my mother generation and the generation ahead, it seems like they're on the same page. And we are the ones who have
Yes.
taken on all the challenges. So I feel that and I go home, I observe that and I'm amused.
Yes.
So we are the ones who are daring enough to do that and, take on the challenges. But the advice is that, as Poonam said, go ahead and do it because, you are learning a lot on the journey. And yes, there are sacrifices, but there are rewards as well. So you cannot just have it both ways, right?
Yes.
To gain something, you have to lose something.
Yes.
So I think that is the lesson out of all my advice to a trailing spouse that, it's don't close your doors. Be open and new things do happen and the exposure that you get is phenomenal.
So what about you, Archana? Any advice?
Yeah, actually completely resonate with what Seher said, that it is not easy to, be a trailing spouse and keep moving every now and then. And with me, someone like my father was in a transferable job, and every 3 years we would be packing our bags and moving to a new place. So right from the childhood, like I know that moving every 3 years, moving to a new place, leaving your school behind, going to a new place, making new friends. So it was happening with me even as a child. So when it came to trailing spouse, I think it came very naturally to me with whatever challenges we had, in a conflict or career and everything. But then my father always used to say that when you're working, you should be open to movement. You should not be afraid, like, go wherever your work takes you. And whatever then challenges will come with it. Sometimes my father would have a rural posting. Sometimes, we would be in some random place altogether with no facilities. So I have seen it all. So you have to keep your mind open and be very,
I think that's very sound advice.
Yes, and be positive and accept whatever comes on your way. And most of the time it is
don't close
it is
your
rewarding.
doors.
It is rewarding.
And Sadia?
Yeah, so for me, I think it's very important to have a flexible mind and a positive mind. So whenever there are opportunities of relocations, take it with a positive mind and, take it in the good spirit. Because if you keep thinking about all the challenges and all the negativity, it will take you nowhere. You will not be happy with yourself. You will not be happy with the family where you are getting relocated. So that's very important. And if you have to give a pause for a little while or give a break for a little while, take it positively as well. That this is a resting time, to reinvent or to give some family time and taking some time for your own self, which you always need. As women, we always need, that, time. And then I think the positive things about trailing spouse is like your kids get to see a role model, and as third culture kids, these children become more resilient than the ones who did not leave their comfort zone. Because the children, they constantly see the mother struggling, balancing and everything. So that gives them enough confidence that if my mother and father can do it, we can do it too. Because when we were moving every 1.5 years, when my sons were very young, but they did not forget anything. Until now, they remembered that they literally grew up in the aircraft, one aeroplane to another aeroplane, just like that. So now when I see them, they're very resilient. Even the pandemic could not touch them. They went to their college, they did, their graduation, they could manage everything. Because for them, this is what life is all about. Life is not being stagnant in one place, it has to move. So when you get the chances of moving, take it positively. That this is also an exposure, which you might not get only from your job sitting in one place and in one country. And if you keep moving, new people will come in your life, you will learn new things, new opportunities will come. So for me, every relocation should have a positive, an optimistic, implication of it. So I try to take it positively, and I want my kids to learn that in their generation, when they have to move, they don't get frustrated or they don't find it difficult. So they can take examples from us, and then they can implement in their lives. So in a way, I think we are giving good examples to our kids, for whom we all sacrifice so much. They appreciate it, because kids with parents who are moving often, they tend to become more flexible and resilient, because they know they have to survive in any given environment. So that is a very important life skill, I think, which a job may not give you fully. So these are the life skills you need, particularly for this generation and this fast-pacing world.
I also feel that, one needs to think through before taking that decision, especially for young people who have never traveled outside. Sometimes the opportunity to just go abroad might seem very attractive, and that may be the reason that they agree to follow their husband. So I think it's very important, when you are making that decisions, to think, so that you know what you are getting into. And also, like, once you are there, it's not always bed of roses, and it looks very glamorous from outside, expat life or the expat wife's life, but it's not as always. And if you are very ambitious, it can be very depressing also. So I think people need to be ready for that, think about that, be ready, and be willing to wait a long time, or also be willing to take a setback and then reinvent themselves. It's been really lovely talking to you all. Thank you very much.
Thank you for
Thank
having
you so
us.
much,
Thank you,
Kavita.
Kavita, for having us
Thank
over.
you.
Silapatra